to monitor Saturday's council polls. EFCC spokesman Dele Oyewale disclosed this in a statement today as the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, conducts the elections in the national's capital. Oyewale said the deployment is aimed at safeguarding electoral integrity and curbing incidents of vote buying and other forms of electoral malpractice. According to him, the EFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyede, has charged the officers to ensure strict surveillance across all the council areas and prevent incidents of vote buying and other electoral malpractices. The officers were all over the FCT, safeguarding the electoral processes to ensure transparency and accountable conduct, he said. The Independent National Electoral Commission has warned Nigerians to be careful of a fraudulent recruitment link circulating online, distancing itself from what it described as a fake and misleading website. In a notice posted on its official X platform today, the Commission stated that INEC ad hoc staff recruitment 2026 is fake, misleading, and not authorized by the Commission. INEC made it clear that it did not approve or originate the link being shared. The electoral body cautioned Nigerians against providing sensitive information on the platform. 30 people have been killed and several others abducted following a bandit attack on Dotsin Danajia village in Anka local government area of Zamfara state. The attack occurred when the gunmen invaded the village around midnight on Thursday till the early hours of Friday. Residents said the gunmen, who reportedly arrived on motorcycles, blocked the village entrance and began shooting sporadically before carrying out the abductions. Meanwhile, Lawal has directed the Deputy Governor, Mani Mumuni, to visit the affected community. The visit is aimed at sympathizing with residents and conveying the governor's message of condolences to the families of the victims. Police authorities are yet to comment on the incident. Zamfara is one of the northwestern states affected by banditry, who most times struggle for resource control. Other states include Kebbi, Kaduna, Sokoto, and Katsina. Troops of the Joint Task Northeast Operation Hadinkai, OPHK, have sustained aggressive offensive and stabilization operations across the theater of OPHK, successfully thwarted a terrorist attack, neutralizing 5 insurgents and rescuing kidnapped civilians in separate operations conducted on 20 to 21 February 2026. In addition, OPHK troops under Section 1 deployed at Ngusoye village rescued 3 abducted children, Abba Abba 12, Fatima Abba 8, and Aisha Abba 6, during a perimeter patrol in Bama local government area of Borno State. Meanwhile, troops also recorded the surrender of an 18-year-old terrorist suspect, Abubakar, at Gaidam in Yobe State, where he is currently in custody for profiling. These were revealed in a statement signed by the Media Information Officer, Headquarters, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, today. The Oyo State Police Command has arrested one Garuba Aminu, aged 20 years, for unlawful possession of a suspected human part. According to reports, the suspect, who disguised as a scavenger at the commercial Oruki area of Oyo, was nabbed by vigilant members of the community for his strange movement and conduct. Acting promptly and responsibly, concerned residents subjected him to a search during which a cut lower right leg, suspected to be a human part, was discovered inside a large sack containing waste plastic bottles in his possession. Upon receipt of the reports, a police joint patrol team, in collaboration with other security partners, swiftly rushed to the scene where an angry mob had gathered with intent to lynch the suspect. The team professionally dispersed the mob and rescued him from imminent harm, while the suspected human part was recovered as exhibit and secured for forensic and investigative purposes. The suspect has since been transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for discreet and thorough investigation to unravel the circumstances surrounding the incidents. In the same vein, Oyo State Police Command has arrested hoodlums who allegedly rob unsuspecting members of the public along Elebuoja off Alawakala Expressway, Ibadan. Acting promptly on the information from vigilant residents, operatives of the command's anti-counterfeiting and fraud unit embarked on a targeted surveillance patrol in the area to apprehend the suspect and prevent further criminality. During the patrol, 2 suspects identified as Elijah TJ, 21 years, and Otu Emmanuel M, 33 years, were arrested. A search conducted on their person and belongings led to the recovery of 2 toy pistols and some illicit drugs, which were immediately secured as exhibits for investigation. The swift response of the operatives prevented potential escalation of criminal activity and safeguarded the community. Upon interrogation, the suspects confessed to multiple acts of robbery along the aforementioned axis and other locations within and outside the state. The suspects remain in custody as the investigation continues, and the Commissioner of Police, CP Femi Haruna, has directed that upon the conclusion of the investigation, they be charged to court in accordance with the law. Operatives of the Ondo State Police Command have arrested 13 suspects in connection with a recent violent attack in Idori town. The spokesman of the Ondo State Police Command, Abayomi Jimo, said the attack, which happened on February 18, led to the death of 2 persons. Jimo stated that 3 other victims sustained injuries, while several properties were destroyed during the World Congress of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the town. He said that the arrest followed a carefully coordinated, intelligence-led operation ordered by the Ondo State Commissioner of Police, Adebowale Lawal. According to him, the suspects have made useful statements that are aiding ongoing investigations. Meanwhile, Lawal reiterated the command's firm resolve to ensure that all those involved in the heinous act are brought to justice. The commissioner urged the residents of Idori and the entire people of Ondo State to remain calm and law-abiding, providing useful and timely information that can aid ongoing investigations and enhance collective security efforts. We shall now take a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
This Ramadan, it's not the season to hide, it's the season to let my beauty shine. Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Lotion 5-in-1 Complete Care. Discover deep nourishment with cocoa butter, deep moisture serum, and vitamin E for long-lasting moisture and protection from dry and ashy skin without the greasy feel. Get the Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Glow this Ramadan. Skin is for always shining. Nivea is for skin.
Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on.
Share of 3 billion naira with Nivea. 1,000 naira airtime guaranteed with every entry. Become one of 10 millionaires weekly or win a chance to see Real Madrid live. 3 SUVs to be won. Buy any Nivea 400ml promo product, scratch and dial to enter.
Protect every day with Hypo. Stains and dirt don't go on break.
So whiten your whites with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo.
Thank you for staying with us. The world is today marking the 2026 International Mother Language Day with renewed attention on young people under the theme Youth Voices on Multilingual Education. The day, proclaimed by the UNESCO, promotes linguistic diversity and the preservation of indigenous languages across the globe. In Nigeria, experts say placing youths at the center of multilingual education is critical to safeguarding the future of local languages. Our reporter, Abimbola Ashawande, has more.
With over 500 indigenous languages, Nigeria remains one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the world. However, stakeholders warn that many of these languages are facing gradual decline. Speaking with BCOS News, a professor of linguistics at the University of Ibadan, Francis Egbohari, explains that multilingual education enables young people to learn in their mother tongue alongside other languages, strengthening both cognitive development and cultural identity.
In Nigeria is that we have experienced a lot of language shrinkage, both in terms of geospatial shrinkage of languages. Among minority languages, we have seen the death of many minority languages because of rural-urban migration of populations. And then, of course, again, in urban areas, you find that the English language is serving official purposes, and many of our youths are now beginning to speak English as their first language. So the implication of that basically is that our languages are not being used effectively, and the languages are dying. And one language cannot exactly substitute for another, in the sense that every language is adapted to its environment. So that there's no way English can replace Yoruba, but people will still feel the identity of being Yoruba or the Yorubaness in it. Because tied to being a Yoruba person is the Yoruba language. And then the culture itself has the language as the engine of its expression. It's when people talk about language policies, for instance, they must know that identity is critical. And then, of course, there is also the cognitive aspect, which means that language also helps us in the way we see the world, in the way we process, in the way we learn, and in the way we express ourselves.
According to him, when youths are encouraged to speak and learn in their indigenous languages, they become active participants in preserving their cultural heritage. He notes that placing youth voices at the center of language discussions ensure policies reflect the realities and aspirations of the younger generation. Professor Egbohari also highlights the role of digital platforms and social media as powerful tools for promoting indigenous languages among young people. He stresses the need for effective implementation of Nigeria's national language policy to further advance mother tongue education.
I speak English. I claim to speak English, but if I listen to other people, I discover that we are barely speaking the same kind of English language. The Yoruba people will speak a kind of Yoruba English. Hausa speak Hausa English. Igbo. So there is a need for us, when we are grounded in our different languages, we can find convergence on the basis of these languages that are authentic to us, that form the basis of our realities. Because we are grounded in the similar realities which are expressed in our various languages. So the mother language is the authentic basis for us to find this national unity and national convergence.
Also speaking, a teacher, Mrs. Taiwo Alalade, emphasizes the importance of early exposure to mother tongue instruction. She explains that students grounded in their indigenous languages often demonstrate better comprehension and greater confidence when learning other subjects. However, she observes that the preference for English in many homes limits opportunities for children to fully develop literacy skills in their mother tongue.
Very important to us. Why? Because you tell me your name is Shade and you can't speak Yoruba. So what is Shade about you? The name, your name, and also the language you speak is your identity. So it's very important. You should be able to identify yourself with the language anywhere you go in the world.
Education experts are urging government at all levels to strengthen policies that promote multilingual education, improve teaching resources, and actively involve young people in language preservation initiatives. They say the future of indigenous languages now rests largely in the hands of the younger generation.
National Examination Council, NECO, has announced that this year's common entrance examination into junior secondary schools of federal government colleges nationwide will be held on Saturday, June 6, 2026. A statement issued by NECO in Abuja explained that only primary 6 pupils who shall not be less than 10 years in September this year are eligible to write the examination. Parents, guardians, and teachers have been directed to visit NECO website www.neco.gov.ng for registration of candidates for the common entrance examinations. They are also directed to click the step-by-step guide online through the NECO portal for details on the registration. The statement warned teachers, parents and guardians to avoid bank transfer during the registration, but rather pay through USSD, card, wallet and internet banking. During Ramadan, fasting from dawn to sunset is not only a spiritual obligation, but also a physical test of endurance. While fruits are widely regarded as a healthy option for breaking the fast, nutrition experts say not all fruits are equally suitable. Some, such as dates, bananas, and watermelon, provide quick energy and are easy to digest. Our reporter, Temitope Ogunleye, takes a closer look at the relationship between Ramadan and fruit consumption. Our report is presented by Adebayo Abdurrahman.
Fruits occupy a special place during Ramadan, serving as a gentle bridge between prolonged fasting and a full meal. For many, reaching for dates or watermelon at iftar is both a religious tradition and a practical way to regain strength and hydration. However, experts note that fruit choices are often guided by habit rather than nutritional knowledge. Some fruits, though appealing, may contain high acidity levels that can irritate the stomach after hours of fasting. Speaking with BCOS News, a professor of food technology at the University of Ibadan, Rahman Akinyosho, explained that many people consume fruits at iftar without understanding the science behind the practice. He advised that fruits with high acidity and low pH levels, such as lemon, grape, and agbalumo, should be avoided when breaking the fast because they may cause stomach discomfort due to their sour nature. Professor Akinyosho recommended opting for ripe fruits such as papaya, mango, banana, dates, and watermelon, preferably taken with a glass of water. According to him, these fruits contain natural sugars that help replenish lost fluids and provide immediate energy.
If you want to break, it is advisable that people give us something that will replenish the energy and the water. And if you look at the fruits that are recommended or that I will be mentioning, or whatever fruits you want to use, you must use one that can serve the purpose. However, there are some that will have reactive effects that must not be used. If you are talking about fruits that will serve the purpose, you must take fruit that has sugar. What interests us is sugar and water. Though most fruit contain high content moisture, water. So whatever fruit you want to use is something that have sugar and water. But there are some fruits, basic things that can use physical to determine them or to screen them out. Any food that has acid, high acid in quotes content is not ideal, it's not recommended. Something like lemon, something like grapefruit, something like African star apple that we call agbalumo. To know them, to determine their sourness, that is an indicator that the pH is low. And when the pH is low, below 7, it is not recommended for you to use it to break fast.
The food technologist further clarified that fruits are not substitutes for a balanced meal, but serve as a quick source of natural sugars that act as an energy booster before the main meal is consumed.
Watermelon is an excellent one. It has high quantity of water, and the acidic value content is low, and you also have the sugar content that is moderate. Fruits in this category, dates is there. Ripe papaya, ripe pawpaw is there, is recommended. Ripe mango is recommended. Ripe banana is recommended.
He therefore urged the public to prioritize properly ripened fruits when breaking their fast and to avoid unripe or overly acidic varieties that may irritate the digestive system after prolonged abstinence.
The federal government has been urged to ensure that all states domesticate, implement, and strictly enforce the Child Rights Act of 2003 as a decisive step towards eradicating child marriage in Nigeria. A medical social worker, Dr. Abdulateef Adeoti, And the child advocate Somisola Abiono made the call while speaking on BCOS TV's magazine program Saturday Special. Our reporter Olamide Owolabi reports.
Child marriage remains a major social challenge in Nigeria, despite ongoing advocacy and legal interventions aimed at curbing the practice. Speaking on BCOS Saturday Special, medical social worker Dr. Abdulateef Adioti described child marriage as a forced and premature union arranged by parents or guardians without the informed consent of the child. He identified poverty, religious and cultural beliefs as well as economic pressures as key drivers of the practice. Dr. Adioti warned that child marriage exposes victims to serious health risk, emotional trauma, and long-term social consequences.
And of course, we have several reasons why we have where this thing continues: the religion, the cultural practices, and so many more. Why people engage in their practices? Most of those things happens in more of the rural areas, which of course they could not be able to afford the guys' educations, and they see it as a way of escaping their responsibility. Most of the states that even adopted the 2003 Child Rights Act, most of them that domesticated the law in their state are not really implementing it.
Also on the program, legal practitioner and child advocate Somisola Abiono defined child marriage as any marital union involving persons under the age of 18, regardless of gender. She emphasized the need to place higher value on the girl child, stressing that she should not be perceived merely as a future wife or mother, but as an individual with enormous potential to contribute meaningfully to the society.
And one major factor that cannot be overemphasized on the issue of child marriage is poverty. When parents, they see it as a way to shift their responsibility to another person. They just say, let this one get married. At least we have less mouth to feed, we have less people to clothe. And you now talk about the issue of dowry. We have a case where some family got over $100,000 as bride price, yes. So they see it as a poverty alleviation program under the Child Rights Act 2003. Every child should be given the opportunity to grow up and chart a course for their life. No parent has the right to say, okay, this is the person you marry when you grow up. It's an offense. So talking about whether these children are met virgins or they are not, they give out child early marriage because they want them to meet them as virgin is just one of the factors perpetrators hide under. So in most cases, it might not even be so. And in most cases, in some other cases, it might be so. But whether it is so or not so, that is not the point. The point is child marriage is a violation of human rights. Let these children grow up. Let them come to the age of maturity and chart a course for their own life.
The dice called on parents, governments at all levels, religious institutions, and community leaders to intensify efforts to keep girls in school, noting that education remains one of the most effective tools in reducing the incidence of child marriage. Olamide Owolabi, BCOS News.
When romantic relationships end, emotional pain is often followed by practical disputes, especially over money and material gifts exchanged during the partnership. Counselors and legal professionals say they are increasingly handling cases where former partners demand repayment of shared expenses or the return of gifts once given in love. Our reporter, Frances Aino, sought expert opinions and reactions from individuals and now reports.
When a romantic relationship breaks down, the aftermath can extend beyond heartbreak to financial disagreements, money spent during the relationship, shared investments, or gifts exchanged as token of affection can suddenly become subjects of disputes. What was once freely given may later be demanded back, creating tension and resentment between former partners. Experts say such conflicts often reveal deeper issues of trust, communication, and unclear financial boundaries. In many cases, couples fail to have open discussions about financial expectations during the relationship, which later complicates matters when the union dissolves.
Since there is no legal backing up the exchange of these material things, then the two of them should settle the matter amicably without any noise. Except there is legal backing, then it can be settled in court.
Some individuals who shared their experiences with BCOS News stated that at the time the expenses were made, a breakup was never anticipated. They believe that financial commitments made during the relationship should be accepted as part of the experience rather than pursued after separation. To me, a relationship resembles a game, and therefore crime of mutual respect in modern relationships is a key reason for their breakdown. Although ending a relationship is painful, it frequently results from this lack of respect. The retrieval of gifts following a breakup is unnecessary. Speaking with BCOS News, counseling psychologist Dr. Olubanke Olaojo explained that financial support or gifts given out of affection during a relationship are generally not legally enforceable as debts. She noted that unless there is documentation evidence of a formal agreement, recovering such money or items through legal means can be difficult.
When we are in love, when we are in partnership, we so much relax, we share our body, we share our resources, human and materials. When it is time for separation or breakup, I see no reason why both partners want to remit whatever they have shared in love. I don't know if it's going to be a very easy task, because these things we mingle while in love, and we are well relaxed while indebtedness to one another. Sharing it, when there's no definition of sharing formula, I think is a very difficult task.
Dr. Olaojo advised that former partners should approach such disputes with maturity, emphasizing dialogue, negotiation, and forgiveness as healthier paths to resolution. She stressed that careful reflection and emotional restraint can prevent further damage after a relationship ends. Frances Aino, BCOS News.
We shall now go for a short commercial break. Please stay with us.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
Win your share of 3 billion naira with Nivea. 1,000 naira airtime guaranteed with every entry. Become one of 10 millionaires weekly, or win a chance to see Real Madrid live. 3 SUVs to be won. Buy any Nivea 400ml promo product, scratch and dial to enter.
Protect every day with Hypo. Germs always find a way back.
So disinfect your living room every day with Hypo.
Hypo, Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo.
You're welcome back. Now to Sports Desk.
Good evening and welcome to the sports segment. I am Boluwaji Ogumola. Kano Pillars forward Ahmed Musa has rejoined the team ahead of their NPFL Matchday 27 fixture against El Kanemi Warriors. Musa has been absent from the St. Mesdugida's previous games due to family reasons. The veteran forward took part in the team's training session on Thursday. Musa's return is a big motivation for Mohamed Babagana's side as they continue their fight against relegation. He has scored 3 goals for Kano Pillars in the NPFL this season. Kano Pillars will lock horns with the Academy Warriors at the Sonny Abacha Stadium on Sunday. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will participate in a 4-nation invitational tournament in Amman, Jordan during next month's FIFA Men's International Window, the Nigeria Football Federation has announced. Nigeria, 3-time African champions, will open their campaign against Iran on Friday, the 27th of March. The same day, host Jordan take on Costa Rica at the 62,000 capacity King Abdullah Sports City Stadium. The Eagles will then face Jordan in the second round of fixtures on Tuesday, 31st of March, also at the Amman International Stadium, while Costa Rica and Iran meet simultaneously at the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium. Organizers are expected to announce the kickoff time for all 4 matches in coming days. The Super Falcons of Nigeria will open camp in Yaoundé, Cameroon next Wednesday, ahead of their double-header friendlies against the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon. Head coach Justin Madugu unveiled a 25-player squad for the games on Thursday. The players will fly directly to Yaoundé from their respective bases. Nigeria and Cameroon will use the friendlies as part of their preparations for the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The Super Falcons of Nigeria are drawn in Group C with debutants Malawi, Zambia, and Egypt. Cameroon will face Cape Verde, Mali, and Ghana. The competition will run from the 17th of March to the 3rd of April 2026. Super Eagles captain Wilfred Ndidi has resumed training with his Turkish club Besiktas after attending his father's funeral back in Nigeria. Ndidi Sr., a former soldier, died in Delta State last month. He was laid to rest last week Friday in Agbo, Delta State. Ndidi is now available for Sunday's home clash with Gotspe after missing last weekend's 3-2 away win at Istanbul Besiktas. The 29-year-old Nigerian midfielder has scored once in 16 league appearances for Besiktas this season. Finally, Tottenham Hotspur have confirmed that midfielder Dele Alli will return to the club this weekend ahead of their important match against Arsenal. Spurs called Dele Alli one of the most popular players in modern times. Dele Alli is coming back to N17 as a special guest on Sunday and will talk to pitchside presenter Paul Coyley during halftime. It is the latest former star from the highly praised Mauricio Pochettino era to be shown to fans at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with Jan Vertonghen recently displayed in front of the supporters. Spurs are in relegation fight and really need to earn some points urgently. They are currently 5 points ahead of West Ham, who are in 18th place, and 2 points ahead of Nottingham Forest, who are in 17th place. And that's sports this evening. Thanks for watching.
With Nivea Dry Deo, you can keep moving forward in life with confidence. Nivea Dry Deo. Derma 72-hour active protection against sweat and odor with 0% alcohol to prevent irritation. Stay dry and fresh all day long. Skin is for moving forward, Nivea is for skin. Your favorite Nivea Deo, now in a smaller pack size.
Thank you for staying with us. 2 soldiers, including a lieutenant colonel, have been killed during a military operation when a fighter driving an explosive-laden motorcycle rammed into a security convoy vehicle in a district in Pakistan which borders Afghanistan. Foreign Desk Editor Folashade Akintola has details of the story and others as presented by Bimbo Akombi.
The deadly clash took place on Saturday in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Bannu district, with the Pakistani military saying at least 5 people, armed fighters, including one it described as a suicide bomber, were also killed during the operation. The military said that the bomber was stopped by the leading security team, preventing his attempt to attack civilians and law enforcement personnel and averting a major catastrophe. The army referred to the fighters as Khawarij, the term it uses for banned groups, including the Pakistan's Taliban, also known as Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan. Islamabad has repeatedly accused the Taliban administration in Kabul of providing refuge to the TTP, a banned Pakistani group separate from it but linked to the Afghan Taliban, though Kabul has denied the allegations. The 2 countries had previously clashed in a brief border conflict in October last year. Israeli attacks have killed at least 12 people in eastern and southern Lebanon in the latest breach of a 2024 ceasefire deal with the armed group Hezbollah. Lebanon's official reported that airstrikes on the Bekaa Valley in the east of the country killed at least 6 people and left more than 25 wounded, who were distributed across the region's hospitals, according to NNA. NNA later updated the preliminary death toll to more than 10, with at least 30 wounded from the attack on a building in the town of Riyak, located in the Bekaa Governorate. A search operation for survivors is still ongoing at the site. Israel's army said it hit Hezbollah command centers in the Baalbek area of Bekaa, while a Hezbollah source told news agency that a military leader from the armed group was among the dead. Finally, the United States military said it attacked a boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing 3 people in the latest strike on a vessel in international waters that Washington alleges was involved in drug trafficking. U.S. Southern Command, SOUTHCOM, which is responsible for military activities in Latin America and the